Let's do it.
Hey, man, we're live already. Jeez Louise.
We're live. Yes.
We're live, Siege. We're live.
We're live.
Anyway, folks, welcome. It is the notorious, glorious V, the Guerrilla economist, coming to you live with my main man, Senor El Cuco himself, a.k.a. CJ, the producer extraordinaire. And we're the debonair ones, giving you the news, the views, and all the information important to you. Check us out, roguenews.com. Follow us on Twitter at Real Rogue News and Rogue News on every single podcasting app known to humanity. We're coming back with a resurgence because we are the team that gives you the real geopolitical, geostrategic, geoeconomic news and information like nobody else. Also, check out our sponsors, mycbdedibles.com. mycbdedibles.com. Look, guys, if you want good quality vapes and you don't want to die, you know you're going to get a quality product designed and flavored by a Michelin star award-winning chef. Check it out. mycbdedibles.com is a place. Maybe you want to get a treat for your pooch. Hey, that's the place to get it. mycbdedibles.com. The best edibles in the world. Guerrilla tested, Guerrilla approved. And also check out the Patreon if you want more of me, more intricacies, and all sorts of the details within the global syndicate. You can join my Patreon. There's a lot of perks to it as well. And with that being said, CJ, what's crack-a-lacking?
Hey, V, good morning. Doing great. I had a great weekend. And yeah, how about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. I'm drinking. Dude, I just discovered this new coffee that I'm in love with, bro.
Uh-oh, what is it?
It's for the Keurig. You know, sometimes you just want to pop in a pod and just get it over with instead of doing the whole French press thing. Because sometimes the Guerrilla don't got 4 minutes to wait around for coffee. I need it now, CJ. I need it now. And Death Wish. You ever tried Death Wish?
No, Death Wish. What is it?
Death Wish is awesome. I just ordered a case of 60 of them from Amazon, and I'm not getting paid by Death Wish. It's organic. It's like the super strong coffee, but it tastes so smooth. It's jacked with caffeine. And I typically drink regular coffee. I can knock 3-4 cups a day just to keep myself going. Excuse me. With Death Wish, one pod, Siege, I'm good. I'm good for the day. And if I do my bulletproof coffee, where I take my butter and then my coconut oil and I blend it up in the blender, boom, it makes the caffeine levels last even longer, man. I love it.
Sweet.
Absolutely, brother. Dude, it's like a crap show world over. You see what's going on with Syria.
Yeah, Syria. I mean, a little bit of everything everywhere, right? I mean, come on. Jeez.
Dude, I mean, the other day I tweeted out, the world has officially reached pandemic shit show proportions. Pandemic, CJ. It is pandemic. The shit show that is happening. There's not a place on this globe where there is not some sort of crisis. I mean, my God, I've never seen it this way. I mean, literally, CJ, the world is in crisis. Around the world. Name a country that isn't in crisis. A major country. Russia's in crisis. They got all sorts of protests going on over there. They have dealing with the sanctions. They're fighting the asymmetric war against the quote unquote deep state. China's got issues. Hong Kong got issues. Taiwan's got issues. Japan has issues. India has issues. Pakistan has issues. Issues in the Middle East. Issues all over Africa. Issues in North America. Issues all over Europe. Issues in South America. I mean, God dang it, man! I've never seen it like this, bro.
Makes me want to play that REM song. It's the end of the world as we know it.
It's the end of the world as we know it, bro. I think.
You know that song, don't you?
Is it time? CJ, is it time for the cat food in the bunker? Is it time? Are we getting to full cat food levels here?
You know what? I think the situation with the banks is the most shocking and eye-opening, right? I mean, how much more money can the Fed prop up the banks with?
Mm-hmm. And you don't know something, man.
It's everywhere, right?
Yeah, dude, it was like the other day, the Dutch central bank says, yeah, when this is all over, the only thing that we have left is to restart this whole system, and we have to back it with gold. Something along those lines. Maybe it's more of a Swedish accent. Something like that. Right? And I'll tell you right now, it's when the Dutch central bank has literally, they're spilling the beans. This is something that was, and I think, there's been several articles written on it and whatnot. The whole thing of central banks admitting that gold even has any sort of value right? It's something that's relegated to the corners of the darkest, deepest inner recesses of the internet chat rooms, right?
Right.
And number two, any sort of a central banker would never ever promote gold because gold is the biggest competitor to the magic of money printing. Gold is the biggest opponent. It is the taskmaster that no central banker wants. So for them to finally cry uncle, CJ, for them to finally cry uncle, say, yeah, you know what, this whole system's got to restart. It's got to restart with gold. And again, people are hot for cryptocurrency. That's why I always said, look, yeah, Bitcoin's hot. It's great. It has a place in the future. You bet your bottom dollar that. And for private clients, they've already received my 20 crypto list that's been given to me by institutions. So the whole entire thing is that everybody's focusing on everything that's hot and sexy, and right now crypto is like the hot girl in the room. Everybody's looking at her. Ooh, crypto, I want to get with her. She's so hot. Ooh, Bitcoin. But they're forgetting about the true blue. You see, it's like they're chasing the hot girl, which is crypto and all the altcoins, but they're forgetting about the ride or die chick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're forgetting about the ride or die chick, which is gold. Okay, that's your ride or die.
Ride or die.
And for the central banks to admit that is huge. And now, CJ, weeks ago I said, look, there's maybe, and I've been saying for quite some time, there's maybe about 12 months left for the EU to do any sort of quantitative easing, because right now the U.S. is firing up the printing press. I promise you this, and that's why you have another Fed rate cut. We're going into negative interest rates, and they're going to fire up QE. Okay, now it's been revealed before Super Mario Draghi exited stage left. Okay, before he exited stage left and took his he jumped on the flagpole to pull it down. He's off. And before he left, he said, "Yeah, we have maybe 12 months left. Thank you, everybody. I am out." And Super Mario left. And then Christine Lagarde, the giraffe-necked woman of the IMF, came in, right? And the giraffe-necked woman.
That made a lot of sense to give her a position.
Oh Jesus, man! The fact is, not she's so bold about it. She's not even wearing neck scarves anymore. You know what? Back CJ, remember when we used to call her, especially when I used to call her the giraffe-necked woman, and we did it for weeks on end, and all of a sudden, she started wearing a scarf around her neck. Right now, she's so bold in the monetary mayhem. She's so bold about lying. She's not even wearing a neck scarf. She wants you to know that she's officially the longest neck in the IMF, without a doubt. And she's really sticking her neck out there, CJ, because what's coming out right now is, listen to this: the ECB has 1 year of German debt left before hitting buying limits. And that's German debt, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a problem with German debt because the problem with the EU, CJ, it's all daisy chained, right? You got German debt, and who holds the majority of France's debt as well? Germany, right? Correct. So you got French debt, German debt, Spaniard debt, Italian debt, all sorts of debt everywhere, right? 1 month ago, when the ECB's Mario Draghi announced the return of the QE Eternity, or open-ended bond purchases, as his parting gift, skeptics such as his website were quick to note that no such thing as open-ended QE can exist in a continent that is constrained by the amount of outstanding bonds that the ECB can monetize. Because if you think that we have a solvency crisis here, my God, you ought to take a look across the pond in the European Union. Specifically, as noted in September, assuming the proposed 20 billion a month or 20 billion euros per month in QE, and assuming a split of 5 billion in corporate bonds and a balance in sovereign, QE can run for only 9 months under current limits when it comes to the most limiting European asset, German Bunds. It is at the limit, Siege. There's not much they can do. Who's going to get rid of this buying pressure? How is any of this going to get monetized? What are they going to do? What's going to happen to all the money in Europe? Where are they going to panic off to? What's going to happen to the holders of European sovereign debt, Siege? There's only one place to go. There's only one place to go. Right here.
Yeah.
Good old US of A. Folks, I've been detailing this since the Dow was 14 and 15,000 points. And when everybody and your uncle out there that's in alt media telling you to head for the hills, run for cover, grab the cat food, and head for your bunker, I've been telling you we're going to go past 18,000 down. We're going to go past 20. We're going to head to 29,000. And this is more to the point. More to the point. And then the on again, off again Brexit. Brexit's on, Brexit's off. It's a hard Brexit, it's a no Brexit. It's a soft Brexit, it's a squishy Brexit. It's a semi-hard Brexit. It's a semi-soft Brexit. What kind of a Brexit is it? Is it a hot Brexit? Is it a cold Brexit? Is it a wet Brexit? We don't know what kind of Brexit it is, CJ, and neither does the whole world.
Well, hey, be real quick on that note.
Yeah.
Even the Queen just announced that their goal and their ambitions of their government is to exit the EU on the 31st. So it has full support. I think they'll have no choice. They want out of that hellhole of the EU.
And if they are smart, they will exit. They will exit stage left, without a doubt.
Not that I'm a fan of the Queen. I want to make sure to reiterate.
I can't stand the Goths, the Goth family. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if they're smart, they'll get the heck out. And during that time, you're creating a lot more chaos, a lot more volatility. And then the only place that most fund managers are going to look, okay, the ones that want to see fund manager caught between a rock and a hard place. Okay, the smart, astute fund managers, like, they'll see the chaos, and these are the fund managers who manage funds who don't promise their clients, I'm going to give you 9% year over year without fail. No, these are the fund managers that say, look, I'm here to grow your money, but I'm also here to protect your money. I see some storm clouds. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move us into safe harbor conservative investments and stocks and bonds and equities. I'm going to move us to safe assets. I'm going to get you to gold. I want to start, dialing back some of this aggressive plays by the market. That's what they're doing. But that's not the majority. That's the outlier, right? But the majority says, look, I'm all about, it's all about volume. It's not about the client. It's all about volume. It's all about performance. And what we're going to look for the best performing market in the world. And in spite of the fact, the best performing market in the world is right here in the good old US of A. And that's why I always say that, the Dow could dump 5,000 points, 3,000 points, 5,000 points tomorrow, and it'll still be in a bull market. It'll still, dude, if the Dow drops 5,000 points tomorrow, it will create the biggest, first of all, it'll be the initial shock and panic, right? And when all the weak guys have completely crapped the bed, you're going to see the biggest buying spree and then a massive market run that'll crest it over 29,000. That's where it's going to go. And because the fund managers that see this, and they see this as a we need to keep the performance going. We need to keep the 7 to 9% return year over year. They're jumping into the U.S. siege. In other words, we are going to see Dow 29,000, CJ. What's your take?
I think that we will. They'll have no choice but to keep propping up the market, but it's just more for just the optics, right? It's more to build up this hype that the U.S. economy is doing well, but it's all based upon debt. It's a centralized debt expansion, massive debt expansion. The question an individual investor has to ask, especially because we're low-lying fruit in all this, every one of us. Maybe there's a few on here upwards of net worth of a couple million, but the question you have to ask yourself: are you going to get caught up in that? Are you going to get in that environment where they and be the easiest example I can point to is what happened in the crypto market when the crypto markets crashed about a week and a half ago, where all these pluggers were like, there's a reason. Well, that's because the crypto markets is even more influenced by institutional investors that have the ability to pick and choose when to pull their earnings from. So you can apply that same type of concept to the market. Are you going to be in that environment? And that's a question that each person has to ask themselves. Can they make money in it? Yeah, absolutely they can. But just buyer beware. Like anything else, there's calculated risk associated with it.
Yep. Massive calculated risks. And that's the whole thing. It's like the institutions are looking. It's all about chasing the yield right now. It's all about chasing the yield. It's all about getting that liquidity. And you're seeing this in the marketplace play out very heavily, man. Very heavily. Unreal.
Yeah. Well, and obviously the safe place not to be is in the banks, right? If anyone at this point that we're well past the 11th hour. So if you're still counting on your money being in the bank, you can forget that. So are you going to keep your funds in the bank, potentially drawing negative interest in the near future, or are you going to look for where to put your money in to try to make money through this market, and at the same time preserving your wealth to help you through this financial crisis? That's the question, V, and it's not easy. It's not simple, V.
No, it's not. And you know what? It's like one of the advantage. Look, the only advantage people have. Look, here's the deal. Okay, you don't got real manufacturing at a level that's going to make a real bottom line difference here. You got all sorts of economic problems within the country. The only thing that's rocking and rolling that's legit, and even though it's fake, it's phony, it's not, it has nothing to do with the physical economy, is the market. Look, you have to look at it this way. If you want some sort of an exploit in order for you to increase your bottom line, your net worth, your income, you're going to have to do two things. You're going to either A, start some sort of a business that is profitable in an industry or service that you know you can make a great amount of money, a good amount of money.
Tax write-offs too.
Yeah, or mass and with massive tax write-offs as well. Or you're going to get into the market. You know, I mean, people come up to me, hey, what do you think I should do? And I'll tell friends and family, here's what I would do. You know, if look, I lead a busy life. I can't sit there in front of a screen and trade all day. I can't do that. I just don't have the time for it. But I am not opposed to taking my funds, and this is not financial advice, but I'm not opposed to taking my funds, throwing it in an index fund, and letting it ride. Why? Because the damn market is going to do well. It's going to do well. If I'm targeting 29,000 point Dow, and every single bad news you could possibly happen, right? Any sort of a bad news that could possibly happen only does foster that trend where it is going to now 29,000. Then what the heck, man? You know, or if you're a trader, you're going to learn how to trade. There are people that are figuring out how to trade and learning how to trade and trading for themselves and making a killing doing it. You know, they're firing their own boss. They're having the time to spend time with their families and whatnot. So this is where we are. This is where we are, and this is where we're headed. And it's amazing for me to see all this happen. So the only exploit that people have is what's available to them. Look, there's certain exploits you have. You have gold, you got cryptos, you got the market. That's it. Gold, cryptos, markets, man. That's the way to go. Anyway. The dumping is accelerating, CJ. The dumping is accelerating. Russia has, joining Iran and a few other countries, they are going to consider repricing. We talked about this, Siege, I think it was weeks ago. We talked about Rosneft, the largest oil company in the world, stating they're only going to take euros. They're not going to deal with dollars anymore.
Yep.
And Russia has come out, and Siege, why don't you break that down real quick?
Yeah, so this is interesting to watch Russia have this play with the EU, and primarily it's to try to assure them that they're going to be safe from U.S. sanctions, because that's probably what is forthcoming. We know the amount of pressure that the United States is placing on the EU, and primary role is in regards to how they look at Iran. That will determine the fact. So Russia is out there brokering these deals, saying, "Hey, listen, you don't have to worry about the sanctions the United States are going to be imposing on you, because we can do a deal. We can deal with energy. We can trade in the euros. We can make this part of our mission and to get outside of the dollar." Russia did this recently with Turkey to get out of the SWIFT system, to assure them as they move through. But unfortunately, with our policymakers in DC, that is what's pushing more and more countries out of the U.S. dollars into national sovereignty with utilizing their own currencies. So this is fairly significant. So think about it this way: V, is the U.S. going to put pressure on the Europe to say, "Hey, listen, you know what? Don't deal with Russia anymore. Don't buy their energy. Buy it from us. 15 to 20% higher. Everything's going to be good. Or if you do that, we're just going to sanction you." So absolutely, all these deals are going to be placed. We're going to see more and more of this occurring. And Russia, grand chess masters, are negotiating these deals, working these things out, and hand in hand with China behind the scenes to say, "Hey, listen, go for it. That's the right deal for you." Unfortunately, we have become so arrogant as policymakers that we think that we can globally influence like we used to 25, 30 years ago. The charade's up, people. The game's over. These people know specifically what's happening. They see the Fed endlessly printing money to prop up the economy. The game's over. It really is, and this is another clear sign of the changing momentum that's occurring that you've been calling for, for years now.
See, the last bit of news before we close out, and I want you to handle this one. Oh, the land of the free. And the shocking statistic that 30,000 kids under the age of 10 have been arrested in this country.
Look, this doesn't surprise me at all. This is the first time that I've seen this article. But if you think of the massive amount of psychotropics, if you think about the overprescribed mentality that we have in the United States, where a kid isn't able to, quote unquote, where they sit down for hours at a time to focus in a classroom setting, they're quick to label them, oh, they have attention deficit disorder. Here's a prescription for you. So to see this as a statistics where these kids are in school, they're being placed into more of a system of the prison sentencing, everything that's occurring. You're seeing this. I think it also touches right on the depression that's occurring, the anxiety that's happening, and unfortunately, I think we're going to see more of this because what eventually is going to happen is because now you have states and you have New York, California that are doing these forced vaccinations program. I heard New York is considering the Gardasil vaccine.
The HPV for boys, HPV, because boys have vaginas too, man. You know that?
Yeah, they're actually considering that. So all this is, I think, is a result of an overprescribed society. We're seeing all these things occur, and the schools have less and less resources because the federal agencies and the state agencies have these bureaucratic programs that are so focused on testing of the kids that they would rather spend more time instructing teachers how to administer tests and prepare kids for tests instead of critical thinking and learning. So it's very unfortunate, Veer. It truly is.
Absolutely. And with that being said, folks, we're at the end of the show. I'll be on later today on Patreon, so keep it locked over there. If you haven't joined already, join. And also check out our sponsors, mycbdedibles.com. And with that being said, Siege, we're over and out, brother.